So this is a piece of proofing paper that I have. I'm going to show you how to tear it for printing. And the reason that this is one of my pieces of proofing paper is that even though it is a 30-inch by 22-inch sheet of Reeves BFK, which is 100% cotton rag paper, it's a really nice piece of paper, you can see that there is a big dent right there in the paper. I brought this paper outside of an art store where they were on sale specifically because they were dented. So you can see some other spots where there is damage to the paper, like here. And then there's also the big one right here. That's a great idea to do something like that because I got the paper really cheap and I can pull my proofs on the exact paper I'm later going to print on. So I know exactly what type of effects the paper is going to have with the ink. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to tear a piece of paper like this for printing. So when you prepare your paper, this piece of paper I need to prepare onto what I call a printing size or an editioning size. After it's printed, we're actually cutting this print down to a specific shape, so the finished size of the paper will be much different from the size we're going to tear right now. But what we need to do is make sure that we tear the paper in a way that it's going to cover the entire block that we're printing from. So this is our block. And also so that it's going to obviously accommodate the image size that we need. So I feel that if we look at this block and then measure it, we're going to measure the size of the entire block. It's 16 inches, so the paper's 22 by 30. Our actual image size is 13.5, so if I tear the paper in half and have 15 inches by 15 inches, then that would accommodate the image size and it'd be just a little bit smaller than the block, but that's going to be okay. So I have my paper, and I'm working on the back of my paper. My ruler's clean and my paper's laying on a clean surface. So I'm going to make a mark at 15 here, and a mark at 15 here, and then I'm going to line up my ruler with those two marks. And again, I'm working on the back of the paper, and then I'm just going to tear against the ruler to make my size. So even though we're just using proofing paper and we're going to be I'm making some proofs as demonstrations for you all of this print, I'm still going to think about the cleanliness of my work area. So if I look at the size of my block and the size of my paper, my paper is a little bit under 2 inches longer than my block. So I have lots of room to work with on my block. I have all this nice extra border. So again, staying on the back of my paper, I'm going to tear off 2 inches from the bottom here. And I'm going to make sure that I'm tearing off the bottom part of the paper that has the watermark that's visible. From the bottom, I'm going to measure up 2 inches. So that's going to give me a piece of paper that's 20¼ inches long. Just going to check that against my block. So it's going to put my paper all the way at the end of my block. So again, tearing from the back, I'm going to line up my ruler. and then tear against my ruler. My two pieces of paper lined up with one another, so at the bottom here I'm just going to make 2 marks again. There's no watermark on this paper, so I'm going to go ahead and just tear down this end. Now my paper is torn down and ready for the next step.